And in the beginning of this ayah, Allah opens His statement by saying, "Ar-rijalu qawwamuna 'ala an-nisa." Men are caretakers over women. The word qawwam has several meanings. The word qawwam means they are a source of stability for women. That's one of its first meanings. That men provide stability for women. Meaning men are committed to the care of women. Men are charged with the responsibility to protect and care for women. Then Allah Azza wa Jal, in the use of this word, it's remarkable that this word, we have to understand that it's sacred. Because from the same letters, Qaf, Waw, and Mim, actually one of the other names of Allah derived from this word is Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum. So Allah has used a word for men that is actually, it has some of the attributes that Allah uses for Himself. So we have to understand what that means. When Allah calls Himself Al-Qayyum, He's the one who plans things out and lays out an entire sequence of events for His creation, and to ensure that they're growing and to ensure that they're provided for. Meaning, when men become qawwam, they're doing their very best to have an actual plan for the women in their households. Allah then says, "Bima faddala Allahu ba'dahum ala ba'd." And this responsibility of being in charge of the care and the needs and the protection for women, this responsibility comes on account of the fact that Allah decided that some will have preference over others. Now this is important language. Because Allah has given some preference over others. You know what that means? That means in some things men have a preference. Allah has given them an advantage over women. And in other things, Allah has given women an advantage over men. Men have to take certain responsibilities. If they're going to be the caretaker or the provider and the protector and all of those responsibilities, that's actually a privilege Allah has handed over to women. You're not responsible for any of those things. And so Allah then opens it even further and then talks to the men and says, وَبِمَا أَنفَقُوا مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ. And that's because of what they have to spend from their monies. Now herein lies the key. Allah in the Quran did not talk exhaustively about marriage. Like He didn't describe all the things that make a marriage work. There are very few places in the Quran where Allah gives us some insights, and basically it's like instead of describing the entire building, He mentioned a few pillars. If those pillars are not there, the building's going to collapse. Right? And one of those pillars is that the money responsibility is the man's responsibility. He better go find a job. He better go get some work. He better go and provide, because that is actually what Allah has made him responsible for. The word qawwam in the beginning is now being explained by the fact that men are financially responsible for the groceries, for the car, for the fuel, for the electricity bill, for the school, school supplies for the kids, everything. So one of the reasons I was pushed to give this lecture is because lots of people email me all kinds of questions, and there are many men around the world whose wives are being told to go get a job and work while they're sitting at home. Muslim men. And they're saying you have to obey your husband. What religion is that? Allah Azza wa Jal made men responsible financially. And they can't even say, you have to go and we're having a hard time, you need to earn this or that. Look, if there's a desperate situation and a wife decides to go get a job and support financially or do on her own, that's a voluntary thing she's doing that she cannot be told to do. Your money is basically hers, and her money is hers. So this financial sense that men are supposed to have is critical, and Allah mentions that as one of the first conditions of what makes a marriage work. What makes them men. Now let's flip to the other, and the sisters that are listening to this right now are like, yeah, finally a khutbah about team ladies. Well, I told you in the beginning, Allah is fair. There's a balanced equation. Allah loves both sides, men and women. Allah told the men what responsibilities they have. The rest of the khutbah is actually the other side. So men are responsible for all of this, and they better, drip their sweat and break their backs earning for a family and go through all of the labor that they need to go through to take care of them and provide for them and protect them and take care of them emotionally and financially and physically and all of those things. Well, what do the women owe then? What's their side of this equation? Well, Allah Azza wa Jal starts with He said men take care of women, and you were expecting that Allah will say women, therefore do this. Right? But instead of saying women, He said فَالصَّالِحَاتِ. Then as a result, therefore, good women, He doesn't even say women, He says Good women, as if Allah expects the first thing for women to be is good. Not even women anymore. You must be good. And what does good mean in Arabic? The word salih comes from sulh. Sulh means the opposite of fighting, the opposite of corruption. Actually, when there's a conflict, then you want to make peace between two sides, you do sulh. Meaning, such wives are the source of ending all conflicts in the family. They are a source of peace and reconciliation. They are the reason tempers go down. They are the reason voices are lowered. They are the source of calm. They're the source of reform. If there is a conflict or some kind of tension, the first place that the husband looks to, when he turns to her, things are going to settle down, is going to be the wife. So the guy is the men don't take care of their end, and women don't take care of their end. And they become a source of great tension and conflict. Allah starts by saying that they are a source of reform. They are settled, they are calm, they're actually peace themselves, goodness themselves. They are the removal of all sorts of tension. That's the first quality. Then he says, qanitatun, eager to obey. And some have interpreted this as eager to obey Allah. Women should remember that when they are being a source of calm, and when they are providing peace and sakina in the household, they need to realize the only one who can keep a household calm is them. And the only one who can truly set it on fire is them. Women control the emotional temperature of a household. They control it. And they better keep it cool, because this is an act of them obeying Allah Himself. This is out of their eagerness to obey Allah. They need to become a source of calm.